I've spent most of my life feeling like I never really quite fit in. Too white for my Asian friends, but too Asian for my white friends. Chinese American, but always feeling like I had to apologize for not being Chinese enough. And even having to explain why I even cared about learning about my heritage at all. And that in-between space really showed up in everything that I created. My adoption friends weren't that interested in learning about their Chinese culture, and of course, my Chinese American friends didn't understand my adoptee perspective, and as for my white peers, well, I was always just the Asian one in the group. And so because of that, I learned how to code switch, and I learned how to perform, and I did that quite often growing up. I tried to make myself fit into whatever box I needed to fit into in order to be accepted. And that showed up in my creative work too. I tried so many different things: video editing, content strategy, design. It just never felt like anything I ever did was fully mine. I always felt like I was working in someone else's language and never actually speaking my own. I didn't realize how much that missing piece really mattered until I found that one community that really changed my life that I didn't realize I was missing until I actually found it. When I finally found a Chinese community that I really resonated with back in late 2025, everything changed for me. I met people who were going through the same experience as me of being caught in the middle, liking Chinese culture, wanting to learn more, but feeling like they were never Chinese enough and always apologizing for it. I started volunteering. I now volunteer for the Chinese adoptees of the Midwest as a marketing and communications coordinator. And through them, I have met other organizations that help Chinese adoptees in various ways, searching for birth parents, just meeting up and connecting and offering support. I've met so many adoptees who actually care about their heritage and about their culture. And I know this all sounds obvious, but this is not what I grew up with back in the 90s. I have adoption friends who I was adopted with, and my sister's even adopted from China as well, but none of them really cared much to know about where they came from and their heritage. So finding a community of people who actually wanted to explore their heritage and even claim it as their own was something completely foreign and new to me. And this finally gave me permission to finally stop performing for other people and just be Chinese American on my own terms. I've even started searching for my birth parents, which is something I've wanted to do since high school. And for the record, I'm 31 now, so that's over a decade of wanting to do this. And finding a community that really embraces that, supports that, and can show gratitude with empathy is something that made me feel so much less alone in this experience. Something else shifted in me too. I realized I didn't have to apologize for wanting to learn about my heritage or prove that I was Chinese enough. I am Chinese American, and regardless if I grew up in a Chinese family or a Western family, a white family, it doesn't change who I am, where I came from, my ethnicity, and it doesn't determine how I'm able to identify myself as and who I see myself as being. And that shifted change in how I thought about my creative work and business as well. Now, here's where the 3D printing comes into play. I realized that looking at traditional designs, Chinese motifs, and symbolism, it can be a way for me to explore my Chinese culture even deeper. I wouldn't just be consuming it or performing it, I'd actually be creating with it. I want to make Chinese-inspired functional decor and art that can be used by other Chinese Americans, either second generation or adoptees, who may feel like they want to explore their heritage more, or maybe just don't see their culture represented as much in mainstream media and retail. Because here's the thing, you guys, I'm done pretending like I'm not Chinese enough. I'm done apologizing for caring about my heritage or explaining why I have the right to explore it. I am Chinese American, and I get to create from that identity without apology. Suddenly, all those different interests that I had, they finally made sense. Video editing, content strategy, design work, 3D modeling. They weren't random, they were all ways of me telling a story and creating things that matter. I just didn't have a story to tell myself yet. I was helping other people tell their story. Finding the Chinese adoptee community has finally given me clarity on what my story actually is. And through deciding to create Chinese functional art through 3D printing has given me a story to tell and gives me a reason and a way to see how all my skills actually come together. I can design and print the pieces, I can document the process through video, I can use my content strategy brain to help build a business around it, and I can use my role as being part of the Chinese adoptees of the Midwest to stay in connection with the community that I'm creating for. Being a jack of all trades is actually not a weakness. It gives me a way to explore my heritage and create representation in a way that actually feels sustainable to me. If you've ever felt like you don't quite fit in anywhere, I get it. Too much of one thing for some people, not enough of it for other people. Always code switching, always performing, always apologizing for who you are. Maybe you're an adoptee, maybe you're a second generation, maybe you're just someone who's been caught in between two worlds for completely different reasons. Either way, I totally get it, but here's what I've learned. You don't need to fit into someone else's box. You don't need to apologize for who you are or what you care about. You just need to find your people and the ones that get it. Because when you find them, you stop performing and start creating. You stop apologizing and start claiming your space. And all those different interests you have, they're not a problem. They're exactly what you need to tell your story in a way that no one else can. I'm still figuring this all out. I'm still learning 3D modeling, and I'm still searching for my birth parents, as well as building this business in real time. But I'm doing it as a Chinese American adoptee who's done apologizing. I'm creating representation for people like me. I'm exploring my heritage on my own terms, and I'm using every single one of my creative skills to do it. I'm an oceanographer of my own creative life, exploring how everything connects, and I'm going to keep documenting the process as I go. If this resonates with you, welcome. You are in the right place. And until next time, I'll see you then.